Okay.
There you go.
Welcome everybody to the September meeting for the Nottawa Hall. We all got to see the agenda, I think. Oh, there's our mayor is back. You got to see the agenda, Mayor Measures?
Yes, I did. And as a matter of
Good.
fact, that's what I was doing was going to go get my other iPad so I could bring it up.
I got her here.
Okay, good.
So we need someone, I think it's Carrie, who's going to put a motion forward to approve the agenda. And I suspect it'll be seconded by Councillor Deneen by the look of it, because she's the only one I can see other than the mayor.
Well, we need Calvin.
Who can do that. I can't see Calvin, so I don't know.
Calvin, are you there?
He's muted and I can't see him, so.
Yes, I am here.
Okay. So can we have, all in favor of passing the motion for the approval of the agenda?
I am in favor.
Calvin's like the voice of reason here. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anybody getting some money today? Calvin might be. Didn't you spend some money, Calvin?
I did not spend any money. I did
okay.
have a way to hang the hose, but I did not spend any money.
Okay, good. So that we shouldn't have any pecuniary interest then. Approval of the August 13 minutes. Did anyone get an opportunity to see that? I see that. Oh, I see Carrie wants to make a motion to approve those minutes.
Yes, I do.
I thought so, and I figured Councillor Deneen wants to second the motion, and so all in favor?
In favor.
And Calvin, yeah. Okay, good. Business arising from the minutes. Reopening toolkit. Amanda Murray has joined us from the township. There she is.
Hello, and thank you very much, Jason. And
thank you for coming.
You're very welcome. Having a chance to talk about the toolkit reopening. So the intent of the Parks and Rec department was to provide a toolkit that would summarize all of the guidelines that the province has put together regarding community centers, fitness facilities, bowling alleys, food premises, a wide range of recommendations that need to be followed when opening safely for the public. And this is primarily to ensure that we're meeting the phase 3 guidelines. So the toolkit is being provided at no cost. I'm just trying to get the right light. There we go. Is being provided at no cost to all of our small halls, as well as the log cabin and the small jail in Creemore. The idea is that we want to provide resources. So the toolkit is not just about giving information as a whole board, it's about actually giving you some of the basic tools required to reopen safely. Things like floor stickers, hand sanitizer, automatic touchless pumps, being able to install plexiglass if you so choose to put that up in your bar area, and really just to be able for yourself and your volunteers to make sure that when the Nottawa Hall is ready to reopen, that it's done in a safe manner. So the toolkit is attached to the documents today. It looks like it's a huge package. I believe it's about 45 pages. But in reality, the information is only about 15 or 16 pages. The rest of it is the guidelines that we wanted to provide, as well as to kickstart your contact tracing requirements, some pages that could be filled in. So here to answer questions, I can go through some of the sections with the board, have concerns or questions. The most important thing that I do need from the Nottawa board, though, tonight is a motion outlining whether you will continue to remain closed, if you will reopen on you know, on a need basis. So for example, if you wanted to only reopen for a specific purpose, like hosting meetings or providing like private family functions, or if you choose to work towards reopening at a later date, if you pass a motion that is kind of all encompassing of that, then I can work directly with each of your board members to make sure that that gets done as well. So lots of options for tonight. And again, here to answer any questions that you may have.
Excuse me. I talked to Terry briefly about this the other day, and because there was someone wanted to rent the hall, and so him and I talked, and there was a significant amount of things that he mentioned to me that we needed to do before we could do that. And I suspect those are all in the kit, but it's going to be hard for us to pass a motion. I'm sure that, well, maybe Calvin and Carrie and, well, Councillor Deneen and probably Mayor Measures have seen it, but the three of us probably aren't as familiar with it as you guys. So it's going to be hard for us to pass a motion when we don't know what we got to do.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. So the toolkit, the guiding documents, they do outline some really good things that you need to work towards. So for example, if the Nottawa Hall or at all, you need to ensure that there is contact tracing. So whether that is the hall being responsible for keeping track of people, or better yet, what we recommend is that the private renter, they keep track of the guest list, and they have to keep a copy of that list for 30 days. So that recommendation is in the toolkit. The other things that are required is around cleaning and disinfecting the washrooms. That's probably the biggest concern for most of the other halls, that and having the kitchen facilities open. So for cleaning and disinfecting the washroom, the minimum standard is twice per day. So if your hall is going to be rented for any, it needs to be cleaned twice. Have it clean and disinfected and, you know, ready to open can count as one. But at some point during the rental, there has to be another cleaning of those high touch point surfaces, that high frequency touch point surfaces. Again, most of the halls I'm talking to, they have put that on responsibility private. Where you as a hall board are really concerned about is if you choose to host events, then you take on that responsibility of tracking all of the attendees. You're responsible for the cleaning and washing and sanitizing the event. So that those are some concerns. The hall capacity is also something that you need to take a look at. So again, other halls that I've been working with, they have, their volunteers have gone into the hall and have actually marked out on the floor and identified how the tables could be set up, or the number of people that could stand, not but sit in chairs. Because even though the requirement is that you can have 50 people maximum indoor function, that is ensuring that social distancing is still in effect. So what that means is you still have to be able to provide that meter distance between each social circle, even though the event is happening privately. So your 50 people may not actually fit. In the Nottawa Hall, my guess is that you would be hovering around the 30 to 36, 38 person capacity in your upstairs area. So those are some steps that you have to take. It's very important that you take our guidelines, but go into your hall and mark that out and look at, you know, you want to include, open the kitchen, or you can choose to keep the kitchen closed. You know, do you want, you know, how much tables and chairs do you want to be able to provide, things like that.
Did I understand it correct? Amanda, that there is no singing or dancing or musical performance, correct?
Yeah, so it's partially correct. So you can have a music performance, providing there is a barrier between the performer and as well as 6 feet. So some venues have actually done this really well. They've just created those plexiglass.
Can I interrupt? Amanda,
Yep.
you were really cutting out. Can you start over about what the question was?
Sure. The question was about music and singing and dancing. So music performances fall under live theater and entertainment. It's a section in the toolkit. What you need to follow is the guidelines around having a plexiglass barrier. So having a barrier that deviates between the performer and the audience. And that requirement is also in addition to having the 6 feet, 2 meter physical distancing. In general, there is no singing and dancing permitted. It's not allowed on patios. It's not allowed in community centers. It's not allowed in parking lots. Like, it's a pretty broad sweeping guideline. Health units have come out and said. So if you're thinking about an event with entertainment, it's possible, but it wouldn't be in the same social setting like what the Nottawa Hall experienced in the past if you think about having a live band in for a performance.
Thanks.
Do you know what does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, 100%.
Again, music has been performed. Like, if you go to some other locations, even in the South Georgian Bay area, they have had live music performances. So if that's something you want to explore, I would say that we would really just need to sit down and work with the performers to see if that would be possible or not. But you're not going to, like, the participant or the patron who are coming wouldn't be able to get up and dance and sing along.
The Nottawa Hall is a keep it simple hall. So we will probably not have singing and dancing. Because
yeah.
I'm speaking on behalf of Carrie and Calvin, but I think they probably feel the same as I do about something like that. If it's going to be too difficult, let's not do it.
Yeah. The other thing that you want to keep in mind if you're thinking about your own event is in the guidelines, it says that food service, there's a very clear guiding document about what's allowed in food services. So for example, buffet style is not allowed. Cocktail tables are not allowed. And things like food festival style, so when you go from station to station, is not allowed. So just keep that in mind too. If your hall is thinking about hosting any events, the food has to be served on a plate at the table.
I don't think that we have anything planned in the near future, so it shouldn't be an issue for us.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Doug? Mr. Mayor.
There's an email on the Nottawa email account, which still comes into my old iPad. And it's from Jamie McCartney West. And she is asking if she can host a wedding, which would have 40 people. They're all from the same family, obviously. And they would like to host it in October. And so they're asking about it. Barry has already responded to them with information about not having information about how he can open the hall. So, but I just find it interesting for Amanda that, the regulations are now that people have to stay in their own bubbles, their own social circles and so on. And that's what the family would be. It might be larger than 10, but it would certainly be a family bubble for them to host something like that. But again, I don't know about the dancing and the service of food and so on, which may come at a wedding type venue. So I just want to put that out there so we know that we've got a request right now. Barry basically put them off for now by email. I can see that, but what do you think, Amanda?
Yeah, so you know, when you're starting to get to 40 people, you're very close to that 50 max capacity for indoor functions. And I really, you know, being aware of the Nottawa Hall, I think that it's very unlikely that 40 would be able to be accommodated inside on the upper your facility. You would have to go and lay out a very detailed site plan or floor plan about where the tables are being spaced and who's sitting where. There would be no singing, so no DJ service. Yeah. And that's a lot of responsibility because as a hall board, you would pass that on to the private hall renter, but ultimately it's a township facility, so we're responsible for making sure that the rules are being followed.
Councillor,
well, are we going to make a motion to open at a later date then? Is that what we're going to do here then? So we've got some time to get
possibly, yeah.
That sounds like.
Just wanted to make sure that Amanda, we got all the questions we had for Amanda taken care of before we passed any, or before we suggested any motion. Because I also got a call from Cassie McKellen. She saw on the Facebook page anyway. Saw it. Well, her husband's a good friend of mine, so it was. But she owns Lowdown, the restaurant in Collingwood, and they wanted to do some events in the hall. And I said, well, I would know more today, and they don't want to do it for a few months. So I'm just going to say, keep checking with me.
Yeah. You probably going to get a lot of spillover for rentals because of your location close to and near Collingwood, and the fact that there's a lack of public facilities opening in the town of Collingwood. The real big concern, though, is, you know, washrooms, cleaning and disinfecting, access to the kitchen, and making sure that the people who are entering the facility are following all the health guidelines. And that is where Toolkit and me and my department can work as close as possible, socially distancing, of course. But, you know, in terms of making sure that you have a really strong document and guidelines that you can give to those hall renters. But ultimately, we want to make sure that the safety and the health and well-being of renters and you guys as volunteers entering the city is like first and foremost, not necessarily get a rental in or not.
All right. So, Carrie? What are your thoughts on this?
I think I have some genuine concerns about being able to open it, and you know, I mean, even, you know, like I think about showers or kids' birthday parties, like you can't enforce social distancing there. So I have concerns about being able to open safely.
Calvin?
Yeah, I've got some concerns too. I mean, sure, it's great to provide a legal or a document saying you have to do what you have to do, but who's responsible for ensuring that they do that? And if they don't, where does that responsibility fall?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm not so excited about reopening when it's going to be this difficult to reopen and make sure everybody's safe. So maybe we keep looking at this monthly at meetings, but as far as Amanda's motion and that she needs and Councillor Deneen's motion, I'd be happy to listen to what Councillor Deneen's motion is at this point.
Well, like Amanda said, we'll just pass a motion to open at a later date, reviewed monthly at our meetings, until which time we're comfortable to go ahead with full rental.
Okay. I will consider that Councillor Deneen's motion. Anybody second that? Carrie Merlees, all in favor? Everybody.
But,
Yay.
just before you go on, I got a question, if I could.
Sure.
But it's a good motion, and it's exactly what we need to do, I believe. But I think the other thing we need to do is take this kit information that Amanda's presented, print it off, maybe have 2 members go into the hall and take a tape measure and figure it out, because then we can talk to people who are looking to rent the hall about
You're right.
physically how much space we actually can use.
Right.
We're hanging around with 30, 50, like, let's find out what reasonably could be done, and
Okay.
move some tables around, and we can wear
I think
masks.
that's a good idea.
I think, if we could do that, just because then we'll have a better idea when we try to answer people what their questions
Yeah.
might be.
I just
Councillor
have a
Deneen.
question, Amanda, please. Amanda, if we were going in midstream during an event or a rental to do the bathrooms, would just a spray disinfectant in the bathrooms, is that sufficient, or is it a total wipe down?
No, it's a spray sufficient if it is, let's say, one of the Lysol disinfectants. In the guiding document, it makes mention of a DIN, which is the disinfectant number that is typically found on cleaners and cleaning solutions, but household cleaning solutions like Lysol or Clorox are completely acceptable. So yes, that would be fine. And just to Mayor Measure's comment, or just to provide some elaboration to that, I am happy to meet with the volunteers our Facebook, because it's an indoor setting. At your hall, we'll need to print off those documents. I can provide all of that to you in a paper format. This is about not asking volunteers to do anything above and beyond. You my full access to me resource to print all those documents, to show up with the tape measure, to let me know dates, times, and I'll be there with floors and sanitizer.
Okay. Carrie Release.
Can I just ask another question? So I'm just trying to visualize this in my head. If we had tables set up, the people at those tables would have to be in each other's bubble, would they not? Because they're not going to be 6 feet apart.
Yes, that is correct. They have to be within their own social circle, and your social circle is capped at 10 people. So an entire family does not count as a social bubble. It's your social circle of 10 people only that is at the table.
Okay.
Alvin.
Are we being responsible for that social bubble of everybody that's there?
Or is the rent?
So the only rental documents include the renter being responsible for those people. What private need to do is they have, we have a health poster that goes at the hand sanitizer. It's basically.
Hang on, can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah.
If we're not speaking, can we go on mute? Because there's a lot of echo and it's really hard to understand people. So if we're not talking, can we all go on mute, please?
Do you want me to answer? Okay. So ultimately the renter, if there was an outbreak, the renter would have to show through their contact tracing form, so their guest list, all the people who attended that function. Our responsibility as a township is to do our due diligence. So we have put up the posters, you as a hall board member have put up the posters that talk about self-screening. We've provided the hand sanitizer. We've done the, mandatory face mask poster when entering a public facility, those types of things. If there was an outbreak, there would be, we would have to lean towards the health unit to look for those guidance. So, Calvin, to answer your question, who is ultimately liable? The township would be part of that responsibility because it's a township facility, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to give legal, input. I just know that we are able to provide you guys with the guidance documents, and providing that information and making sure everything is being followed is certainly, a very big step forward in making sure everybody's safe when entering our halls. So it's a bit of a roundabout answer, but we don't have, if I had a magic wand, I would just make COVID disappear, but I don't. And we don't know what the long-term results are going to be, but it's just about everyone making sure we've done the best that we can to reduce the spread of COVID. And these guiding documents and the tangible resources that are being provided will help that if the hall board chooses to reopen.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Did we get what we need there from Amanda, everybody? Yeah. Councilor Mayor Measures.
Yeah, just to follow up on Amanda's gracious offer to deliver materials or print off everything. I think we need to have a look at this because unfortunately we're coming into that October, November, December season, which is historically very busy at the hall. And I think we need to be clear that what we can't do or what we can't do. So I think the sooner the better, guys. Between Barry and Calvin or Jason, Carrie, we need to get this sorted out as far as whether there's enough room, how many people could use it, what type of events could be held. Certainly, Amanda, the market type things that we're famous for at Nottawa, I just don't see how they could happen. I mean, going from one booth to the other, doing your Christmas shopping, I don't see that as a doable scenario during this COVID thing. So anybody got a suggestion as to when we could get some numbers together as far as how many people can be used in the hall, what type of things we can do? Like an on-site meeting, everybody wear your mask and we'll get this sorted out.
Yeah, I'd be glad to go in and do that, and I'm pretty flexible.
I would too.
I can help hold
Same
the
here.
tape.
I
Okay,
have a
so
tape measure.
Amanda, can you provide the information that we would need, or do you want to join us at the hall for this type of walkthrough? Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, so all the information in that guiding document that is attached to this meeting agenda, but I can print out the binder and drop everything off at the hall. If you guys want to go through it, what I've been doing with all the other halls is letting the volunteers read through things and coming up with your own list of questions so that when I show up, we're not reading through it together. You've already kind of had some time to digest the information and you know the types of events. So Mayor Measures, you're absolutely right. The markets are a bit of a concern. Within that 50-person capacity inside the indoor facilities, you would have to include the vendors themselves. So if you're having, 10 tables set up and they each have a person, then your capacity of being able to enter into the hall and maintain physical distancing is even that much smaller, considering you have vendors to account for. So I think the best approach would be, volunteers, you guys read through the documents. And I apologize. It looks like a lot of information, but it really is just a couple of those key pages. And then I'm happy to meet on site or happy to answer any questions in advance. And and you have to just be there. Don't have any, you guys rolling your sleeves and measuring. I think you're all quite capable of doing that, but I'm more than happy to be on site to help with that and to help facilitate it.
Do we want to aim for next Thursday?
Sure.
No,
What time?
I don't know that we all have to be there.
If I can maybe just project, the other halls that I've been working with have really only allowed the 2, maybe 3 people tops, and then not allowed, I'm sorry, they've empowered those 2 or 3 volunteers to do the layouts, to make the decisions, mainly the person who does the bookings and deals with the clients directly, and perhaps one or two other people that are familiar with the events that are going on. It just helps make decisions so that everyone is on the same page at the same time. But again, it's up to you guys as a hall board if you choose to take a different approach.
Calvin.
Are we allowed to go on camera?
For what purpose?
I'd like to go on camera to talk about this. Talk about this.
Well, it's unfortunate because it's not really something you can go underneath Section 239 of the Municipal Act. So, I mean, there's nothing. It's nothing.
Okay.
There's nothing that allows you to do that. You can have a private conversation with anybody else, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you got a question, give us a call. Call Amanda. Call myself. Happy to help.
Okay.
My schedule for these cleaning dates is fairly flexible, but there's no way I'll know until the day of whether or not I can do it. It's just, real estate is just too insanely busy right now.
Well, do we want to just think about a couple of us doing it?
Yeah, if you pick a date and I can be there, I'll be there. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, well, I'm volunteering.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering to be one of those people, and I can do any night next week except Tuesday. So.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to work with me?
Calvin, what do you got for next week?
I'm good in the evening. Any day next week in the evening.
Yay, Calvin.
Any night but Monday.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm not
kidding.
for me. So I think Carrie's suggestion of Thursday is probably best if it works for everybody.
Thursday, like 6 o'clock, 6:30, something like that. Is that possible?
You have to, just on the messenger just let us know and let us know what time. Just tell us and we'll go from there. Just whoever can be there, that's okay, Carrie.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, and so Amanda, if you want, you can either drop the stuff off to the hall or you can drop it into my office because I'll be there tomorrow. How's that?
So I will make arrangements to drop everything off at the hall, just because tomorrow I'll put everything together
Sure.
in the afternoon and then swing by, drop it off. So
Perfect.
I'm already tied up in the afternoon, so I'll take it on my bike through.
Perfect. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. If there's no other questions, I'm going to let, I don't believe any other.
I was just going to say, I think that your involvement might be required for the new business, which is in-person meetings, but maybe it isn't. Do you think
No,
it is?
I don't know if you're looking at an updated agenda there.
I got that one. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, if I need to ask you questions, I'll give you a call. How's that?
yes, absolutely. We're always available to help out. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to sign off now. And I wish everyone on the Nottawa Hall a great weekend. And I will see you guys sometime next week or whenever you. Oh, so sorry. Was that motion passed? Just
Yes, it passed.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Take care.
Good night.
My agenda now has BMO account as number 2, and I have not done anything with that. I did talk to Emery the other day, but there's just some craziness going on in my life right now that's pretty important, and I'm taking care of that. So as soon as I can, I'll get to that with Emery. And if you want to talk about that off camera, we'll do that via messenger. The electrical outlet, Calvin.
So I got a quote from a local electrician about adding a plug at the rear of the building and towards the front of the building. I emailed it out to everyone for them to look over. Cost came out at $1,288.20, if that's what we choose to do or not.
I don't know anything about electricians or electricity. Is that a decent price?
Seems ridiculous.
Wouldn't you get more than one quote?
Yes, yes, but I don't know what the ballpark is that we're aiming at. I have no idea what the cost of putting an exterior wall outlet in is. So
I'm not sure. I know the price of copper these days isn't cheap. When I look at the labor costs, when we break down the bill, the labor cost is $650. The material is $340. The permit is $150 plus tax. So 2 guys and a truck, I'm guessing at $150, $200 an hour, they're probably quoting 3 hours of work. Roughly, I'm guesstimating. It doesn't say the hours, but that's the quote. So
yeah,
I can look into getting other companies to quote. I only had one company quote and sent the information and was looking for feedback.
Okay. Well, we'll look at it. We'll look at getting a second quote just to see where we're at. Is there any other electrical companies in the Nottawa area? Because I prefer to use somebody local. Anybody?
I don't know anybody else.
Let's think about this, and we'll fire that up on Messenger as well. When if we think of somebody, or Google and find somebody, we'll send that along. How's that? Does that work?
My nephew works for Rigney's, and he just passed his electrician's ticket, but Rigney's are up in Hampton. But
yeah, I play hockey with Mike, so I have no issue with Rigney's.
Yeah. Well, Luke Ryerson, that's my nephew. He works for Rigney's. So, and Luke lives in Nottawa. He brings a truck home at night. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah, no, they are Clearview and they are close to us. So yeah. I'm okay with Rigney's.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think so too.
Okay, I'll contact Rigney to get a quote.
Thank you so much, Calvin. Appreciate that. That's very good.
Any other companies we should talk to? Anybody? How about within a week, if I don't hear of another company, it'll be Rigney and Triborough Electric. We'll go with those 2 quotes and see what happens.
Sure. And if Rigney doesn't give us a quote, we'll just use Dr. Google and we'll find somebody nearby who can give us a quote.
Sure.
Yeah. I was just suggesting we use somebody from Clearview or somebody close by, just to keep the work in the community. But if there isn't anyone available, we'll go outside the community. Financial report. I just got that sent to me, and I didn't actually open it because I got it at 10 after 7. I think maybe I got it before that, but the last time I saw it was 10 after 7. Where is it? Of course, it's not opening on my phone. Does Kayla, are you there? No?
I'm always here.
Oh, are you?
I just can't find the mute button when I need it.
Yeah, I can't seem to open this attachment on my phone that you sent me with the financials.
Yeah, let me just grab it.
Can you help me out with that a little bit?
My side. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Actually, I could probably just share my screen if you'd like.
That'd be great too.
All right. I don't know why I wanted that. I just want share screen. There it is. All right. Share. There we go. Can everybody see my screen there?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So here's your profit and loss that Emmy has sent me.
A lot of zeros there.
Yep. Yeah, it's been quite the year, hasn't it? Just continue scrolling so everyone can see the bottom numbers there. Does anybody want me to focus on anything in particular, or?
I don't think so. It all looks in order to me.
I think
I just have a question, because we had motioned last meeting to do our second installment to the township, but I don't know if that, like, will that check get written during COVID?
I would assume so.
Well,
I can check with, let me check with Emmy tomorrow, and I'll send out a message. Check.
Thank you. The other thing is I did email Waste Disposal about, I called them, and when I called them, they said, send us an email. So I sent them an email requesting them to remove the bin. So we weren't getting billed to store their bin. So I don't know if it's happened or not. It looked like it was there the other day when I went by, but
Yeah, it's still there.
as long as they're not sending a bill for it, they can store it there if they'd like.
Yeah. Calvin, just wondered, did Calvin remove the lock from that thing? Did you pull that off of there, Cal?
I don't think I did, no.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll stop by tomorrow and pull that off.
Yeah, might as well, just take it off.
I think it was, well, it looked like the handle was down when I went by.
Oh.
But maybe they emptied it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I guess the next question is, I thought we left it off that we were supposed to get a scheduled pickup date so we could pull the lock off a couple days before.
I haven't heard anything.
We weren't getting charged for whatever garbage ended up in the bin while waiting for them to come pick it up.
I have not, they did not respond to the email I sent them. So I don't know where that's at, to be fair, to be honest, 100% honest. Because when I called, you get a voicemail saying, send an email to customer service at whatever the company name is .com. And I did, and I requested them to remove the bin.
And no confirmation that they're going to do it.
I've got nothing from them. Mr. Mayor, I want to call you council measures all the time.
That's okay. Just checking the email for the hall. There is an invoice dated September the 2nd.
All right.
So there is an invoice dated September the 2nd.
Can you send that along to me so I can attach it to
here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a big invoice. It's all of 79 cents that they're invoicing us. Just saying, that's what the bill is.
Sometimes you just wash it. I don't know. It costs them more to send that invoice to us than it does for us to invoice.
You know, large corporations, they do that. Yeah. Anyway, the point, I will copy this to you, Jason, and I'll also, of course, send it to Emmy. And maybe, Jason, you could use that as really good evidence to say, we're even now, come get your bin.
Yeah, maybe we should pass a motion to pay that bill. Well, we can take. I think as the board chair, as long as we have a budget, I can approve that. So I'll just tell him that we can send that 79 cents.
So before we move on, I did some Googling. There is a company called Hurt Electric in the McKean subdivision on Wagner Street.
All right.
I will contact them for a quote.
He's not there anymore. I don't know where he is. He's moved.
Okay. Well, let's go with Rigby's are well known and they're solid in the community. I bet they help us out. So
Harry, he is still there. I don't know. I understood that he might be ill, but I was just at the neighbors today, and the fellow still lives in the house on the corner. You can try it and see if there's an answer. He is right on the corner though. Hurt Electric. He owns the house right on the corner of McKean and Wagner.
Somebody young living in there now. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. We can look. Sure.
We do pretty good with folks in Nottawa helping us out. So I believe that's the financials. The next is a maintenance report. Calvin, and I know you have some excellent news for us.
The hose is no longer just sitting in the front entrance. I actually did some work at the back of my house where I had to remove an old hose holder, and I just put that up in the hall. So it's there, it's put away. We're not tripping over it. We have to drag it out of the little entrance to use, but when we're not using it, it's in and out of the way. So no cost to the hall to make that happen, and it's not a trip hazard. So double win.
See, I told you, folks from Nottawa help us out.
Also,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I did get a message from one of the township guys who worked in the hall. There was someone in the hall doing an inspection of a piece of equipment who reported that one of the toilets were running. I went to the hall shortly after to see what's going on. It looked like there was an issue with whoever had a bowel movement in the hall at the time, being able to flush it down, caused the toilet not to drain. I just kind of popped the lid, played with the plunger inside the tank, and it sealed up, flushed it 4 or 5 times, no problem. However, we should keep an eye on the men's toilet to make sure it doesn't run in the future and decide if we need to do anything from there going forward. But at this point, I think it's resolved, but I thought that should be mentioned on record.
Be it resolved that the toilet is now working.
I remember when we were kids, we were always just told, jiggle the handle when you're done.
Jiggle the
Make sure
handle.
it was running.
Has Patrice been to visit the gardens lately, or as the unofficial gardener of the Nottawa Hall?
I've lost my video and it's given me a hard time about speaking here, but yes, I have been there.
And how are we looking?
They look beautiful.
I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased.
Sweet.
They do look really nice, Patrice. You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, they are really nice.
Thank you. Good job, Patrice. Thank you.
Yes, thank you ever so much.
I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Awesome. And Calvin, I assume that's what you have for the maintenance report?
Yes, that's all for the maintenance report.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Barry Stockdale isn't here to give us a booking update, but I'm pretty sure we have no bookings. So that update is very short today. Awesome, buddy. Anyway, next on my agenda doesn't seem accurate. So it says upcoming events, past events, hall board. Anyway, we have no upcoming events, and I think the past events are taken care of. So.
Okay, say goodnight to everybody.
It's Doug. It is Doug.
Sorry to interrupt the meeting for bedtime, but you know, multitasking has to happen at times.
Yeah.
First things first, Calvin. First things first.
You got it.
Did we ever discuss Patrice becoming a member, or was she interested of the board? And was there application put forward for that?
Oh, I'm back on again.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to be part of it. So you guys decide what I have to do and I'll do it.
I believe it's just an application form that's on, I think it's online, isn't it, Mr. Councillor Deneen? Is it online? Oh, there we are. Look who's back. Kayla's going to answer this one by the sound of it.
I can absolutely send her an application to send in. Once that's filled out, I will get that to council for them to appropriately appoint her. However, if you wouldn't mind just passing a motion.
I was just going to say we'll have a motion to do that. Calvin?
I'd like to pass a motion to have Patrice join the hall board.
Wonderful.
Seconded by, oh, look at this, it's a race. Well, Councillor Deneen this time. Carrie, you're on everything. All in favor?
Yeah, it's Phyllis's fault I'm here, so.
Yeah, so that makes sense then. Maybe we should have recorded the vote. Awesome. And according to my agenda, that's all we have except for an adjournment. And next meeting, October the 8th at 7:30.
Were we going to talk about in-person meetings?
Well, I wasn't sure if that was actually on here or not. And I think because my agenda isn't the most recent one.
Gotcha.
Is it on here, Kayla? Or did we already talked about it? Oh, Barry's here. Look at that. And
Sorry, I was sidetracked with Mr. Stockdale joining. What were you asking me, Jason?
If the agenda actually has in-person meetings on it.
It does not. I believe
that's
that it was covered at the last meeting, the council.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And welcome, Barry. We can't hear you, and we can't see you, but we can see that you're here. So the October the 8th is the next meeting, 7:30.
Go ahead, Barry.
Oh, hi, welcome, Barry.
Oh, I was muted or some damn thing. So we do have people that want to rent the hall.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec and I'll tell you who. Just going from the last one, it is Jamie McCartney West to hold a family wedding. I think that's the West girl is the, what's her name that owns the store?
Louise.
Yeah, Louise West's daughter. Or Louise McCarthy's daughter.
McCartney West.
Yeah. That the hospital wants to do something. Yeah, I got that waste thing too. And dealing with the waste, Doug's the only one that's on their list that they will listen to.
For who?
Doug.
No, but who before that?
First one was Louise McCartney.
Yeah.
Her daughter, they want to hold a wedding there. But it's going to be very small. So they were just wondering if the hall was open. And I said when they asked, I had no clue at this time if it was or wasn't. And I don't know what the plans are going forward. The other one is the hospital asked me. Brittany, yeah, that's Brittany Black from the hospital. Linda Mead for pricing for 50 people for a wedding. That was back in August. And I've told them all I have no idea because of COVID. And Linda Mead, there's no, like I told her what the regular prices were with alcohol, non-alcohol. They're only doing 3 to 4 hours, no alcohol. So I have to give I only told them, if it's Saturday, it's this price. If you do it Friday, it's this price. So I do have people. The next one I have, and I haven't seen an email from her, and it's coming up in October, is the lady that does the bazaar, what I call a bazaar, where they do all the artesian shows, where they do all the crafts and all that. If you're only allowed 50 people at a time, and then people use the bathrooms and you got to clean them and all that, like, I don't know what we can do to control all that.
We did pass a motion to, we're going to delay opening the hall.
Okay.
For until at least the next meeting, and then we're going to discuss it again, and hopefully there's some changes.
Well, right now with this, everything happening with everybody, I don't know if it's the second wave or it's just people being stupid.
Well,
right?
the
people are having parties and stuff like that. You could have 30 people and one person not know they got COVID,
Yeah.
there's 30 people infected. Well, take those 30 people, and I go to my work.
Yeah.
There's how many people at my work now infected?
Yeah. And that is a big reason why we decided not to reopen the hall, at least until we can discuss it again next month.
Yes.
So.
Barry, did you say something about the waste disposal?
Yes. I was on when you guys were talking about the waste disposal. The only person that they will listen to is Doug, because he is on the account. Nobody else is. Remember, Doug, I had to I had to get you to send an email.
Okay, so I will, Jason, with your blessing as the chair, I will contact Waste Connections Canada, speak to Mr. Scott, I think his name is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's the guy. We've dealt with him before. No, it's not Scott. It's Short. His name is Short. Kevin Short. I will reach out to him, Jason, and advise him that you're the chair and you can communicate, but I'll communicate your message on your behalf if you permit that. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I think there should be people that can do that. I think that would be Calvin, Doug, and Jason.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll tell you what, I'll add Calvin too.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that, Rogers, can we also, have you contacted Rogers to have myself and Jason added?
I've done that already, Calvin, and I have yourself and the clerk of the Corporation of Clearview Township on the account.
Way better than
Perfect.
So I spoke to that chap, Calvin, who contacted us about the burial. Do you remember that guy? I just don't have his name right with me. And he contacted me, and I told him, I said, are you right in front of our account? Like, do you have access to it? And he said, yeah. And I said, I want you to add Calvin Phillips, and I gave him your personal email address and your personal cell phone number to add to the account. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem, pal.
at RCI at Rogers.rc.
Not that one. No, I didn't.
Personal.
Definitely not personal.
Correct.
I have a few of those in the Rogers system as well, because I still think I might be an employee still of Sportsnet, even though I haven't worked there since 2013.
I feel sorry for it.
I'm just an employee. I mean, so if they want to call me and work for them, they can. I probably won't, but they can. So thank you, Barry, for the update. We appreciate that. The next meeting is October the 8th. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm guessing the 1st is a Thursday. Look at me doing math. Yeah. So
that's for me.
Good job.
Yeah. All right. So all we need now is a motion of adjournment, and I know Carrie loves this one.
I'd like to put forward a motion to adjourn.
Oh, you got stepped on, Carrie.
Wow.
Got stepped on.
Motion put forward by Calvin to adjourn. Do we have a seconder? Nope. Not Carrie. All right, Councilor Deneen. All in favor? Yay! Great job, everybody. Thank you so much.
Okay.